I think it'd be useful to do a little video here on calculating the maximum amount of local anesthetic that can be given to a particular patient. Now, why are we worried about calculating the maximum amount of local anesthetic? Well, that's because local anesthetics, like any drug, can have toxic side effects, particularly in the CNS and the cardiovascular system. You can imagine that given their mechanism of action are as sodium channel blockers, that they would have a profound effect on both the CNS and the cardiovascular system. So you'll see tables that list the maximum dose of various local anesthetics, and I'll just kind of write two of them here. Two of the most common ones are bupivacaine, which is otherwise known as Marcaine, and lidocaine, which is otherwise known as xylocaine. And the maximum dose of bupivacaine is 2.5 milligrams per kilogram without epi. This is without epinephrine. And with epinephrine, it's 3 milligrams per kilogram. I probably shouldn't be writing the 0.0 in there. And lidocaine is a little bit more, so you can give a bit bigger of a dose, so it's 4.5 milligrams per kilogram without epinephrine and 7 milligrams per kilogram with epinephrine. And I'll leave you to your wits to see if you can figure out why you can give more when there's epinephrine also present in the solution. And we'll do another video on some general concepts around local anesthetics. So let's do two examples here. Let's say we have a 70 kilogram patient. First of all, I should clarify that the reason that we need to make a calculation is because, this is a parameter, and we need to measure an amount that we're going to give in terms of a syringe of solution. So we need to figure out how many milliliters of a certain percentage solution that we're going to give our patient. So if we have a 70 kilogram patient times 2.5 milligrams per kilogram, let's say we're giving them Marcaine without epinephrine, that's 175 milligrams total that the patient is allowed to receive before we start pushing our toxic levels. Okay, so let's say, and bupivacaine commonly comes in 0.25% solutions or 0.5% solutions. So let's say we have a 0.5% solution. So that's equal to 0.5 grams per 100 mils, or 500 milligrams per 100 mils. So if we have 175 milligrams that we can give this patient, 175 milligrams times, for every 100 mils, there are 500 milligrams. That's equal to, having done the math already, 35 mils total. We cross off our milligrams here. 175 times 100 divided by 500 is equal to 35. So we can fill up a syringe with up to 35 milliliters of the solution before we can start, of our 0.5% Marcaine solution, before we start worrying about our toxic levels. Okay? Another example, let's say we have a 100 kilogram patient, and we want to give them lidocaine with epinephrine. So we can give them a dose of 7 milligrams per kilogram. So that's equal to a total of 700 milligrams that they can receive. And lidocaine commonly comes in 2% solution. So 2% solution equals, a 2% solution is 2 grams per 100 milliliters, which is the same thing as 2,000 milligrams per 100 milliliters. Sorry. So if we have a 700 milligram limit, and for every 100 mils there are 2,000 milligrams, then again we cross off our milligrams. 700 times 100 divided by 2,000. Let's see what we get. 35 milliliters once again. So again, we can fill our syringe with 2% lidocaine with epinephrine with 35 milliliters before we start worrying about our toxic levels. So that's just a basic, those are several basic examples of how to calculate the maximum dose of local anesthetic that you can give your patient.